All right, let's dive into a book that you've probably heard of, one of the most talked about personal finance books of all time, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Today, we're going to break down its core lessons, the ones that can completely change how you think about money, wealth, and really your entire future. Let's get right into it. So, the whole book is built around this really simple but powerful story. It's about two father figures. You've got the author's real dad, super educated but financially struggling, the poor dad. And then you've got his best friend's dad, an entrepreneur who becomes his mentor, the rich dad. And the advice they give on money, it's polar opposite. And that clash of ideas is what changes everything. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll kick things off with those two clashing mindsets. Then we're going to get into the single biggest difference, assets versus liabilities. After that, we'll look at the escape plan from the rat race, which is called the cash flow quadrant. We'll cover the simple rich dad rules you can actually use. And finally, we'll talk about what all this means for your financial future. Okay, first up, the core conflict. Let's really get into the fundamental difference in how these two men saw the world. Because honestly, understanding this split is the key that unlocks everything else in the book. And this slide just nails it. This is the great divide. The poor dad mindset says you trade your time for a paycheck. You work hard for money. The rich dad mindset, it's a total 180. It says you stop working for money, and instead, you learn how to make money work for you. Now, the poor dad's advice, this is going to sound super familiar, right? It's the path most of us are taught. Go to school, get that degree, find a safe, secure job, and just climb the ladder. It's a life that's built entirely around being a good employee. But then you have the rich dad's philosophy, and it's like from another planet. It's not about how good your job is. It's about owning things that make you money, assets, businesses. The whole focus shifts from being an employee to being an owner. So that's the big question, right? How do you actually make money work for you? Well, it all boils down to one incredibly simple, yet totally profound distinction. This next idea, this is the real dividing line. It's really this simple. According to Rich Dad, an asset is anything, and I mean anything, that puts money into your pocket. It generates income for you whether you're actively working or not. Just think of it like a little money-making machine that you own. And a liability? Well, it's the exact opposite. It's anything that takes money out of your pocket. It's a financial drain. It's something you constantly have to feed with your own hard-earned cash. Okay, and this is where the book really starts to mess with your head, in a good way. It completely reframes things we're taught to want. On the left, a rental property that pays you every month, that's an asset. Stocks that pay dividends, an asset. But on the right, the mortgage on the house you live in, that's a liability because it takes money out of your pocket every single month. Same with your car payment, your credit card debt. They're all financial drains. So what's the big secret here? It's not about your salary. It's about what you buy with your salary. The rich focus all their energy and money on buying more of those income-generating assets. Everyone else? They tend to buy liabilities that look like assets, but actually just make them poorer over time. All right, so now let's get into a really powerful tool for seeing how this all fits together in the real world. It's called the cash flow quadrant, and it basically maps out the only 4 ways that people can earn money. Think of this as your roadmap out of the rat race. Okay, so here it is. On the left side, you've got E for employee, you have a job, and S for self-employed, you own a job. A doctor or a freelancer fits here. But in both of those cases, if you stop working, the money stops. You're trading time for money. Now on the right side, you've got B for business owner. You own a system that works for you. And I for investor, your money works for you. So the big goal, the whole point of this, is to make the jump. The path to real financial freedom, according to this book, is all about moving from the left side of this quadrant over to the right side. It's about shifting from active income, where you have to show up to get paid, to passive income, where your systems and your assets are doing the heavy lifting for you. All right, the theory is great, but how do you actually do this? How do you make that move? Let's break down the actionable rules, the actual game plan for making this shift happen in your own life. It really boils down to 3 simple but powerful rules. Number 1, mind your own business. And trust me, it's not what you think. Number 2, a rule that sounds easy but is so hard for most people, always pay yourself first. And number 3, a total game changer for your career, work to learn, not just to earn. So here's what that first rule really means. minding your own business is all about building that asset column. Look, your profession, your 9-to-5 job, that's how you pay your bills. But your business, that's where you build your wealth. The idea is to keep your day job to cover expenses while using your extra time and money to build a financial empire on the side. And look, none of this works without this one non-negotiable rule. You absolutely have to invest in your own financial education. They don't teach you this stuff in school. You have to go out and learn about investing, taxes, debt, and business systems on your own. That knowledge is the real foundation that all wealth is built on. All right, let's bring it all home. When you start applying these principles, what does that transformation actually look like? Well, you're really standing at a fork in the road. You're making a choice between two very different financial destinies. And this is the ultimate before and after. The old path is like being on a financial treadmill. You run faster, you work harder, you make more money, but you never actually get ahead. The new path, it's about getting off the treadmill and owning the machine itself. It's about building and buying assets that create multiple streams of income, which ultimately gives you freedom over your time and your life. So, if you're gonna remember just a few things from all this, let them be these. First, be obsessed with buying assets, not liabilities that drain your cash. Second, change your mindset completely. Make it your goal to have your money work hard for you, not the other way around. Third, never stop learning. Your financial education is your single most important asset. And finally, always have a plan to move from the left side of that quadrant to the right. So in the end, Rich Dad Poor Dad isn't just giving you financial advice. It's really presenting you with a choice. It's laying out two completely different paths, two ways of thinking, and two possible futures. The only question left is, which one are you going to choose?